Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson here again, and we are reviewing for our grade 7 SLO or SMILE exam. So here's our show number 1, because we haven't done this in a while. So 2021, here we go. If you need help with your homework, there's Dollar Teacher Homework Helpline at 212-777-3380, Monday to Thursday at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. They are there to help people do their homework. If you have questions, call them up. They're really nice people. Don't forget to watch our show Math Time on Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Optimum Cablevision, only in Peekskill. Remember, we have study tutorial videos on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson, PKMS, Peekskill Middle School. Subscribe to our channel. Help us to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting close, so help us out. Tell your friends, tell your relatives and neighbors that Dr. Rob is trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Write us a comment. Let us know how we're doing, what we could do better to help you out, and I do write back. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Check out our latest release, PKMS Math Prep 21, a salute to the teachers and the essential workers. Tweet me at drobmath1. All right, so here we go. Leslie rolls a fair number cube with 6 faces labeled 1 through 6. She rolls the number cube 600 times, a lot of rolls. Which result is most likely? All right, well, I'm looking at my choices. She'll roll either a 1 or a 2 about 100 times. She will roll a 1 or a 2 exactly 100 times. And I'm a little taken back with that word exactly, because when you're dealing with probability, it's never an exact science. It's a lot of theory to it, because probability, I'm sure you know, is another way of saying gambling. So it's not a sure thing. But if they say exactly, I'd be very leery of that answer. So Leslie will roll an even number exactly 300 times. We'll roll an odd number exactly 300 times. Well, again, I'm going to talk about that word exactly, because in probability, unless you're doing experimental probability, where you actually physically do the rolling, then you will see exactly what you get, because you are experimenting. But you wouldn't know unless you did it. So I'm going to ignore those 3 choices that have exactly, because you don't know unless you really do it. Now, since it's a theory we're talking about, in theory, probability will happen for rolling a 1. Well, the probability of rolling a 1 on a cube, there's only one number out of 6 numbers on a cube. And if you're going to do that 600 times, that'll give you 600 over 6, which is 100. So you should get about 100 ones, which is true. And probability of a 2 also is 1 out of 6. And if you do that 600 times, you will also get 100. So I'm going to go with choice A as my answer for that question. So you will get 2 or 1 about 100 times. So if you choose choice number 1, that is the way to go. Choice letter A, that's the way to go. So that's what we got. All right, let's see what else we have here. What is the solution of the inequality 3 minus 1/2 x? And we're using this symbol, which is the greater than symbol, so it's opened up to the left. So if you have a wide opening to the left, that's greater than, whereas the less than has a smaller opening to the left side. So that's greater than 2. All right, well, let me rewrite this inequality, 3 minus 1/2 x, and I'm going to instead put the greater than sign. I'm going to leave that over here, and I'm going to put an equals symbol. Why? Because I want to treat it like I'm used to, which I'm used to seeing equal sign there. which is an equation. So I'm going to solve it like I would normally solve an equation for x. So let's solve it. First thing I'm going to do is work backwards and do the opposite of what they're telling me to do. Well, I'm not ready to deal with the x because it's being multiplied, so I'm going to go a little further and subtract 3 from both sides. What that does, it cancels out the 3, so I don't have to deal with it. I'll have negative 1/2 x, and 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Now, I have to solve it for x. If you remember, to get rid of the 1/2, we have to divide both sides by that coefficient. So let's divide by negative 1/2. And what that does is it cancels out the negative 1/2, leaving us with the value of letter x. And now all I have to do is divide negative 1 divided by negative 1/2. And if you remember how to divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal of the second number. So the second number is negative 1/2, so I'm going to change that upside down and make that negative 2/1. And now I'm going to multiply that by the negative 1. So negative 1 times 2 over negative 1, that'll give me a positive 2. Because I notice pretty much right here, the 1's canceled out. So my answer will be x equal 2. But remember, this was an inequality. So if we go back up to here, we would put our inequality symbol back into the picture. Let me just erase this little equal sign here because I don't need it. I have to use the symbol that I started with, which is that. Now, I'm tempted to say that's my answer, but remember when we dealt with inequalities, 99% of the time I said the symbol is usually pointing in the right direction, but there was the 1% of the time that you had to keep in mind, and that is, and I'll pull this out, is when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must reverse the comparison symbol. So this symbol has got to be reversed because notice right here we divided by negative 1/2 on both sides. So let's turn this around. So flip left to right, and there it is. So that is our answer. So x is less than 2. So that's the answer to this inequality, x less than 2. So remember, when you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you must reverse the comparison symbol. So treat it as an equation that you would normally solve, and solve it, and then keep in mind, are you multiplying or dividing by a negative number? That way you can reverse the comparison symbol. All right, so I hope you understand what's going on. If you're not sure, rewatch the video, write down your questions, bring them in. I'll be glad to answer them, or you can write me an email. My email address will be at the end of the video. So let's keep going. Alyssa wants to place a picture that is 13.5 inches wide from the center of a bulletin board that is 3 inches. No, that's not right. It shouldn't be 3 inches because if that's impossible, I believe it's 30 inches wide. 30 inches wide. How far from each side of the bulletin board should she place the picture for it to be centered? Okay. All right. I'm glad it's 30 inches wide because if it were 3, it would be impossible. So there's the picture she wants to place on the bulletin board of herself. So let's get a bulletin board. There's her bulletin board, and she wants to place it centered. So she wants to be centered. And let me just bring this forward. So put the order forward. All right. So she wants to center it. Now it looks a little centered, but we're not sure exactly. So what I'm going to do, since I know this bulletin board is 30 inches, I'm going to put it right at the edge there. and see how much space does that take up. Because I know this whole thing is 30. And the picture is going to take up, her picture is going to take up 13 and a half inches. 13 and a half inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract those two numbers. 30 minus 13 and a half. So let me bring this down to 29 and make that 2 over 2. And 2 over 2 minus 2 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is 1 over 2. 9 minus 3 is 6. And 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 16 and a half inches left from her picture to the end there. So that's how much space I have left. So since I'm going to center it, which means I'm going to have the same amount of space that's going to be equal on both sides, what I'm going to do is I have two sides, so I'm going to take that 16 and a half inches and divide it in half. So 16 and a half, and I'm going to make that easier to deal with because I like money. 16.5, $16.50. So if I divide it in half, divide it by 2, that'll give me, divide that by 2, that'll give me $8.25, or 8 1/4. So 8 1/4 would be the amount that's left on each side. So I would put it here, so she'd have 8 1/4 here, 8 1/4 here. That would be, and her picture would be 13 and a half there, so that would fill up the whole 30 inches. So the distance from each side of the bulletin board has got to be 8 1/4 or 8.25 inches for her to have it centered. So that's an interesting question. All right, nice picture, Alyssa. Which expression is equivalent to 3 parenthesis x plus 5 parenthesis minus 2? All right, let me write that down. 3 parenthesis x plus 5 minus 2. If you remember, when we have a number next to parenthesis, that means you have to distribute that number to everything that's inside of the parenthesis first. So let's do our first distribution. 3 is going to be multiplied by the x. There's our first distribution. That equals 3x. Then we do our second distribution. 3 is being multiplied by the positive or plus 5. And that equals plus 15. So we just did the distribution. So if we were to get rid of the parenthesis, we would and the 3, we would have 3x plus 15. But keep in mind, there was a minus 2 at the end of this problem. So we didn't have to distribute the 3 to that, but it was at the end of the problem. So that means we have to do some combining of like terms. So we have a plus 15 and a minus 2, or 15 minus 2, that gives us 13, and that's going to be plus 13. And we have 3x plus 13 will be our answer, which is choice letter C. So if you said C, good job. So I hope things are going good for you and you're understanding what's going on. If you're still not sure, rewatch the video and bring in your questions, and I'll be glad to answer them in class. All right, last question we'll deal with, a little geometry. What is the measure of angle, that less than symbol means angle, x, in the diagram shown below? Well, we haven't talked too much about geometry. I know we did a little bit of Pythagorean theorem, and we're working on it, and we were dealing with the right triangle, but here's a little box, and that's the right angle we talked about, which is 90 degrees. So I have a straight line, and I have a bunch of straight lines here at 57 degrees and an x. So that little box right there means it's 90 degrees. So if I have a line, and let's highlight out line, a straight line is 180 degrees. It's a straight line. That's one thing you should know. And if I have this other line cutting it into two parts, 90 degrees is this part, because of the box tells us that. this part of the line is cut also into two parts. Well, I know the whole thing is 180. So this whole thing is 180. They cut it into a few parts here. So they cut it up into the box. That's 90. They have another cut over here, which is 57. And they have a little X part here. But I know the whole thing is supposed to be 180 degrees. So let me add up 90 and 57 to see how much that is of the whole straight line. So that gives me 147 degrees. So far I have 147 degrees out of this whole 180. So since this is 180 degrees, and of it, we've used up 147 for this angle here and this angle here, all we need to figure out is what that angle has to be in order to have our complete half a circle or 180 degrees. So I'm going to subtract these two numbers, 180 degrees minus 147, and that'll leave me with 33 degrees left over for this little guy right here. So the X will be 33 degrees. And if you check it, 33 degrees plus 57 degrees, that is equal to 90 degrees. And 90 degrees would be the box over here. And 90 degrees is 180. So that's another way of looking at it. But all of this is on this straight line here, this green straight line that I just painted red. And it's a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So think about a straight angle as 180 degrees, and it's cut into pieces. And the pieces that we were looking for was this little part of X. 180 degrees, it has to add up to that in order to be a straight angle or a straight line. So our answer is, on all this nice work, is 33 degrees has got to be for that letter X, 33 degrees. So I hope you enjoyed that question, and hopefully it helped. If you need help with your homework, there's the Teacher Homework Helpline. Give them a call. Those people can help. 212-777-3380, Monday to Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Don't forget to watch our show Math Time on Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Optimum Cablevision, only in Peekskill on Channel 15. If you desire to watch my study videos, I hope you do. I'm on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson. Subscribe to our channel. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. And give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. And write me a comment, because I do write back. Check out our latest release, PKMS Math Prep 21. Salute to the teachers and the essential workers in this pandemic. Tweet me at drobmath1. Good luck on the exam. I know you're going to do well. Keep watching for more videos to come out, and get ready for the test. I think you're going to do well, because this video will really help you out. So watch it again, bring in your questions. If you desire to study more with me, I can give you a copy of a worksheet that'll help you out with the topics that we've just done, a little review. So write me at drobinson@peekskillschools.org. Hey, there's Kinsley. She's in our Math Prep 21 pandemic movie. Check it out. It's available now on YouTube. PKMS Math Prep 21, the pandemic. I hope you enjoyed the grade 7 review for the SLO smile test, and I'll see you next time. This is Dr. Robinson signing off. Bye-bye.